Hello everyone, I don't know why I did that, we'll move on swiftly. Hello everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name's Alex George. I try and make health content, hopefully useful stuff here on the YouTube channel. And today we're going to be talking about vitamin D, sunlight, multivitamins, and what you need to know. I think there's so much misinformation out there, there's a lot of fake news out there. I think it's been overcomplicated massively, so I'm going to try and clarify some of it for you, why it matters, what you need to know, and whether you need to take vitamins or not. So hopefully a useful video ahead. Before we start, I want to tell you a little bit about sponsors of this video, Lifebuoy. You probably see me using them on my social media. I made some videos, a couple of daft videos about when you should use it, but actually quite important as well. So washing your hands is still super important. Unfortunately, no soap and running water here in Richmond Park that I can use, and therefore a good alternative is some hand sanitizer. This one, Lifebuoy, kills 99.9% of bacteria or viruses, easy to carry around, different size and formulations. And if you're going to pet a dog as well, you need to make sure you wash your hands afterwards. So perfect, really. What a cute little dog. Hello, hi, enjoy your walk. Lots of people enjoying themselves out and about walking in Richmond Park. So wash your hands, very, very important. Lifebuoy's great, lots of sizes, a lot of preparations, and yeah, do the important thing, people. Wash your old hands, takes a matter of seconds. And we can get on with this video. Right, more information in the description, jump down there, check out Lifebuoy and the products, and let's get started with the video. Vitamin D, important, let's go. I mean, how cute is that dog? I do love dogs, and actually, I really want a dog. I'm hoping my family's gonna get one soon. Jump in the comments if you think that I should in fact get a dog and how cute it might be on the channel. Anyway, today we're talking about vitamin D. It is a not bad day actually for a winter's day here in the UK. I'm in Richmond Park in London, out trying to get some sunlight and a bit of a walk, and I thought it was a perfect opportunity for us to talk about this topic. Vitamin D has been massively talked about at the moment. It's really kind of hot in the press, and that's because there has been suggestions made that it plays a role in protecting us against the coronavirus. Now, when I say this, I say it very, very carefully because, of course, we need so much evidence and studies. It doesn't stop you getting coronavirus. Having vitamin D tablets doesn't prevent you catching coronavirus. However, there's some kind of initial interest in the idea that potentially vitamin D might reduce the severity of that illness. Now, there needs to be more research into it. I'm not going to comment further on that without knowing the full picture. What I will say is we do measure vitamin D levels of patients who are admitted with coronavirus, and we do give vitamin D particularly to those who are deficient. So it's going to be very interesting to see you know, what role that plays. We know vitamin D is important in the immune system and the function of our immune system. So yeah, watch that space in that sense. But let's talk about today more generally about the role of vitamin D, why it matters to you, and whether you should be in fact taking vitamin D supplements. So why is vitamin D important? Why does it matter? Like, why do we need it in our bodies? Vitamin D plays an important role in our immune function, which I just mentioned there, so immune system. It also importantly helps us absorb calcium and phosphate. So calcium and phosphate are vital for our bone health. It means that our bones grow strong as we're children, and as adults they maintain their density and their structure and strength. If children are deficient in vitamin D, they can get a condition called Rickets, and typically you see the kind of bow leg picture. That's a kind of typical feature of vitamin D deficiency if it's severe enough, particularly in developmental ages as children. In adults it can cause a condition called osteomalacia. So being deficient in vitamin D, significantly so, can have real implications. So very, very important for absorption of calcium phosphate, keeping our bones strong. Another really important factor around vitamin D is how it implicates in our mood. When we talk about SADS, or seasonal affective disorder, we're talking about the winter months not having much light and people feeling that their mood is worse because of that, feeling a bit blue basically. And one of the things that plays a role in that is vitamin D. Ultraviolet light is our main source of vitamin D. You can get some vitamin D from your food, such as oily fish, but most of it comes from our UV rays, and specifically from ultraviolet B rays. Now, there's plenty of that available in the summer months, so you're talking from March and April all the way through to the end of summer. Throughout the winter months, we basically can't get enough UVB, which means we're not able to make all the vitamin D that we need, and actually people become deficient. It's very, very common for people to become deficient over the winter months if they're relying only on that UV light, and it definitely does make a difference to our mood too. So something that people don't realise, often people might know that vitamin D is important for our bones, but they don't realise the implication actually for our mental health as well. Vitamin D has also been linked to some dementias too. Let's talk a little bit more about how we keep our vitamin D levels in the healthy zone. I'm loving this style of video. I'm just literally marching through, oh, I'm trying not to slip over, marching through the forest, you know, creating YouTube. Absolutely love it. So we've talked a little bit about why it matters and what we use it for. And I've hinted towards the fact that actually Our main source of vitamin D is through sunlight. We don't get enough in the UK, and for those that work indoors particularly, so if you think a lot of people work in offices, in hospitals, and other places that basically are not getting sunlight, not getting outside, your chances of having vitamin D deficiency are much higher, and therefore we need to find another way of replacing that, or making sure we have an adequate amount, particularly in the winter months, and that is through vitamin D supplements. So for many years there's been a bit of debate about the role of it. Do we need it? Should we take a vitamin D supplement? Is it important to us and our health? Well, actually recently the NHS has actually updated its guidance, particularly around the COVID times, because we're all spending a lot more time inside. If you think through the lockdown, throughout the summer and things, a lot of us were only outside for an hour or so a day. So it means that we really were restricted in the amount of vitamin D we're getting. And therefore now they've updated their guidance and said, actually, particularly throughout the winter months, unless you have an underlying condition which prevents you from doing so, and you should always speak to your GP. If you have any health conditions at all, you should speak to your GP before taking any supplements, then you should be taking vitamin D supplements throughout the winters in particular. And for many people, they might need to take it throughout the year. So how do I know how much I should take, what kind of vitamin D preparations, and what do I do if I'm an adult or a child? Now, I would always say with children, speak to your GP before giving them any vitamins or supplements, because it does depend on their age. It's very, very important to get it right. You don't want to get it wrong, so do speak to them first. But actually a lot of children would also need vitamin D supplements. I've safely navigated one of the roads in Richmond Park. There aren't many of them, but you can easily get knocked over by cyclists, so do be careful. Look, there's people out on Boris bikes in Richmond Park. It's carnage, really. Anyway, back to the important topic. So what I'm trying to tell you is that basically, for most people, you need to consider taking vitamin D supplements, particularly around the winter months. And actually there is some conversation about, should we just take it all year? So this is actually great because the sun's come out just as I'm about to tell you that I take vitamin D supplements. The sun has come out. But we do know that in that sunlight, it's not strong enough. The UVB in that sunlight is not going to give me the vitamin D I require. You actually can see that I'm joined by some lovely deers in the background. What a great little shot. I don't know if you can see me properly because of the light, but as long as the deers look nice, that's the most important thing. And they're here as an audience to hear hopefully some useful advice. Right, how much? 10 micrograms is the usual kind of dose for an adult, but it does depend on the individual, so do check with your GP or doctor first and make sure that's correct. For children, that does of course vary. There's different doses depending on their age, so again, speak to the doctor about that. But of course children, it's just important for them around bone health as well, so do consider it. Other groups, those who are pregnant, those who are breastfeeding, will often be recommended to take vitamin D supplements by their midwife or their obstetric doctor. Do have a chat with that. If you want to know more about that, chat with your midwife or obstetrician, and they'll give you some advice about when you should be taking it and how much. For me personally, it's now part of my routine. I get up in the morning, make my morning tea, I have my vitamin D tablet. It takes 2 seconds, it's 2 tablets, bam, down it goes, and you know it's done. It takes time to build up in your system. Personally, when I get up in the morning, I think we actually got some deers having a fight over there. It's chaos, really. Can you see them? Scrapping. Anyway, they've stopped now. Steady on now, I'm trying to do a video. Me personally, what am I on about? Me personally, I take my vitamin D in the morning. I get up, make a cup of tea, it's done for the day. It does take time for it to build up in your system, so you need to actually take it for a prolonged period of time. I don't think I get enough sunlight because I'm working inside mostly, you know, in the hospital. I don't get a lot of natural light even in the summer months. I try and get my walks, as you guys know, but it's probably not enough. And so I am going to make sure that I take it all year round. That way I know that I'm kind of safe, I'm covered, I've ticked that box, and I'm not going to become deficient in vitamin D. So my advice, the bottom line is, unless there's a contraindication, there's a reason you can't do it, then consider taking vitamin D. Do speak to your doctor first, but it's very, very important. Vitamin D is vital for our mood, our bones, and also our immune system too. I hope this video has been useful. Guys, don't forget to check out Lifebuoy in the bottom, click that link in the description. If you enjoy this video and found it useful, please do like, comment, share, subscribe, share it with family members, tell people about the roles of vitamin D, and also obviously speak to your doctor as well. Thank you, Evan. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope the deers are suitably distracted for a few minutes as well. Take care and goodbye.